Welcome to another episode of A Music Prophet. On this episode, you'll hear an interview with a new metal band in Sudbury called For Mother, and they're pretty talented for a band that's just starting out, and it's a really interesting mix of personalities in the band. This interview is definitely something that they'll use as a time capsule.
When we were recording, I did most of the recording process. We did it with one microphone, kind of like the old 90s black metal bands, and just made it as dirty and brutal as possible.
Yeah, just dirty and gross. We just wanted to get rid of the old stuff and just release it. So we recorded it so many times, trying to make it clean, trying to make it perfect. We just decided to make it as dirty as we could. So that's how it felt for us. So
Exactly.
Because that's the sound too, right?
Yeah. Get all the old men who listen to the 90s, like early Burzum records, and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, this sounds pretty similar.
Yeah, because that's a crowd for it, especially, it's a nice throwback to the grunge era when nothing sounded good at all, but yet you still got into it.
And
Yeah,
saves
exactly.
a hell of money.
yeah, the quality is not 100% there, but I think it has more feeling that way. Yeah.
That's definitely. Do you find that the feeling comes through on the audio when it's, or like actually that less feeling comes through in the audio when it's really clean and crisp?
Yeah, if it's perfect with pretty much no errors, no voice cracks, no sliding of the guitar or a missed hit on the drums, it's not, there's no real human element behind it. Like, even if you pay attention, there's quiet notes of us talking in the background of the album and everything because we just forgot to take it out and it just made it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your normal like underground EP almost.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Was that exciting? How long have you guys been together as a band now?
We've been a band since 2017, and from there, before we met Matt, it was originally like a hardcore project. Like, it was just me and the guitarist doing like kind of like a lot of dispute style actually. And so when we met Matt, it was just kind of, let's just do something. I'm bored. I'm tired of doing this all the time. I actually want to be able to play one instrument at a time, not focus on one thing and then switch to the other thing. It was almost impossible to jam. So we met Matt, first heard him. We made Suicide right away, and that kind of clicked all of us together. Ever since then, it's just been like the idea of going back. It's not happening, and we're just trying to focus on. Everyone's got like different styles. Like when Matt first came in, he wanted to do industrial metal. Tyler wanted to do black metal. I wanted to do tech death. All a lot different. So we all just kind of went with the flow, and that's kind of what happened with this EP. We kind of try to stray away from the hardcore stuff, but at the same time, try and find our own style. And after going through this, what's going to be coming will be right what we're looking for.
Yeah, more and more of the kind of sound we're trying to achieve. Just takes time to find the sound that we actually are looking for. I feel like when we started, we didn't even know exactly what we were looking for, but we found now what our skills are and what we want to progress towards. And it's all sounding really good together. We've all come a long way.
Is that a challenge for you as a metal musician? Because I feel like even just from the casual listening I've had, but also most live experiences, you can tell that bands struggle tapping into what they actually want to sound like without being an imposter.
Yeah, it's so easy. Like, even a couple of our, like in my parts, for example, I've taken like inspiration from Tool and stuff like that, which is not really our genre, but it's so close sounding, just covered with heavy distortion. It's hard to stray away from what people have already done and not sound cheesy at the same time.
Everything's been done. You just gotta put your own twist on it.
So then for you, and like especially for like when it comes to drum and bass / lead guitar, is that something that like, are you intentionally trying to make weird riffs find odd pedal distortions that you can use?
Well, for drumming, that's the only thing I do is drumming. It's really, I find it the only thing that's like struggling for me. Like, I don't really particularly like Tyler follows like, copies of, not copies, but like finds inspiration through Tool, even Jack White. I'm still looking for that, to be honest with you. So anytime somebody asks me about like, how do you drum? Like, how do you write music? Honestly, I don't fucking know.
It just comes to you.
I just kind of listen to what Tyler's playing. And from there, I just kind of make what I can. I think that sounds good and what everyone else can agree to. But as far as like basing myself off of somebody else, like where I've got my talent from, I have no clue. I just started off. I literally just bought a drum kit and started playing in the basement years and years ago.
Which is also like, that's something a lot of people don't realize though, right? Like a lot of, especially like your average music listener just assumes that you learn technically or like you learn from other people, but sometimes I think that's the case.
We all love what we're doing, but we have no idea what we're doing.
For the most part.
That's true. It's very true.
Doesn't that make it more fun though?
Yes, actually it does, absolutely.
I'd say so.
Like you never know what's coming. That's the best part is we work full-time jobs, so like you don't see very much time. You feel like you're not putting enough time into it, nothing's happening. But then when those little things start to happen, it's just way more worth it. And it makes you more excited, and it makes you more what's the word I'm looking for? It makes you more appreciative of what's happening around you. So it makes you just strive harder for more and more and more and keep going harder and harder and harder.
How's that for you, Matt? Because you've done a lot of side projects over the years.
Side projects?
Well, bands anyway. Like you've been in the scene for a bit, right? So
yeah.
Are you still not sure what you're doing?
I've never been in a band myself, but I have been around. I was around a lot in the hardcore scene that used to be here. Like the Jubilee and the Alder Hall days. That's when I was too young to go to any bars and stuff like that. But I got a lot of inspiration back then. And back then I knew I wanted to do something, but that wasn't it for me. That's not what I wanted to do. And it took me a while to find what it was I wanted to do. And I'd been practicing screaming for a long time. But finding this band, it just kind of clicked. Like it was the right segue for me to get the style I wanted to get out. Because I have a very unique style of vocals that I do. And it just fits really well with the way these guys play.
I think we should talk about screaming itself, which is, for anyone that's not familiar with metal itself, it's not quite singing, but at the same, it's its own vocal talent on its own, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's such a big part of metal. So, can you talk about that, Matt? Where you started, when you wanted to do it, and what made you actually really want to focus on that and not just singing?
Yeah, so when I was in like high school, I would listen to heavier music, some stuff like that, and more or less like Lamb of God and Slipknot's, like stuff like that. That's kind of what I wanted my vocals to sound like at first. I just like to scream along to that sort of stuff, and it did not sound good. I did not know what I was doing back then, but it got me like kick started anyway. I tried to learn like instruments when I was younger, but I never had the commitment to like follow through and practice a lot. But one thing I noticed I always practiced was my vocals. If I was ever home alone or I was ever driving or whatever, I would always be screaming, always doing something. I used to practice clean vocals too, but screaming was always more fun. It's always something I really enjoyed to do. And yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. Not a long time, just a long time.
But it's practice, right? Like it takes a while to get good at it.
Yeah, people that say it doesn't take skill or it doesn't take practice, you're wrong. 100%. I've still got a long way to go to like perfect my voice the way I would like it to be perfected. Make sure I don't hurt myself in the next few years.
So can you can you talk about the technical side of it? Because sure, you can, if you're starting it, you can scream and you can make that sound, but there's a lot that goes into it to make it so you're saving your voice and that you're not just tearing apart your lungs and throat.
Yeah, you have to gauge like whether it's coming through your throat or through your diaphragm. And, even I don't have a lot of power with a lot of stuff I do because I don't get it quite as deep as I need to get it. That's where it comes with practice, right? Like I'm eventually going to have more power, more push. But once you feel it too much in your throat, or if your throat hurts 5 minutes after screaming, you're doing something wrong. I do a technique where I get really high and I turn my voice into like an echo, like howl thing. And don't ask me how I do it. I don't know how I do it. I just hope it doesn't hurt my voice because it sounds really cool on recording and live. But that's kind of my thing that I do, and I don't hear any other vocalists in Sudbury doing it, so I just enjoy that. But yeah, I usually use like a higher register. That's what I sound good in, and that's what the style sounds good in. And lately, my vocals have been getting dirtier and darker than this stuff that we have recorded here. And playing live, it's totally unpredictable what kind of show you're going to get. Like if I'm really pushing it, I might find something new in myself, and then I can take note of that and perfect it as time goes on. It's just a constantly getting better at what you do.
And is that something that you like? Do you try to control yourself when you're on stage? I mean, this could apply to everyone else in the studio too, but the difference between live and recorded is it's massive.
Yeah, live, there's pretty much no control. I've broken probably about 6 or 7 guitars already, and I ended up tearing a muscle in my forearm because I was playing incorrectly. And it's just like recording, I just sit in a chair. It's nothing. It's really easy to do. But live, we've gone on stage and not even know what we were going to play, and just completely played an entirely new song that became actually one of the songs on the EP. But live compared to recording, sitting down and relaxing. Live, tearing everything apart, including your instrument.
Yeah, I could talk about some things you can. One of the craziest things I think for me, from live and recording, I can appreciate. I'm not gonna have a guitar come hitting me in 10 seconds for every breakdown. That's just something you only see live. Is every breakdown, you probably see Tyler come over, smash his guitar on my set. And I appreciate that in the studio, that I can look around and be like, okay, I'm safe. I'm not gonna have a cymbal fall into me. I can actually focus and count.
Live is not safe. Nothing we do on stage is safe.
But it's only unsafe to you on stage though, which is different.
Well, yeah, if somebody from the audience decided to crawl their little butts on the stage and try and get involved in what we're doing, they're gonna lose an eye or like break an arm or something stupid. Like we know what we're doing, but don't come up on the stage, please.
Yeah. So as a drummer then, because you're in the back, you're watching the lead guitar and the vocal just do their thing, right? So how is that when you're watching the show? Like, do you get stoked? Do you get the feeling that you just want to jump up and break things too?
Yeah, honestly, I do feel like I want to get up and just break things, but in the same sense, that just motivates me. I just hit my drum kit harder. Like last show we played, I actually ended up breaking my crash. That was the first time. It was brand new. It's already broken in half. And just whenever Tyler comes over, or say Matt comes over and they're hitting my stuff, yeah, it makes me want to get up and do the same thing. But it just motivates me to play harder and harder and harder. Once in a while, I'll do odd things. Like if I get the chance, I'll throw a stick out with Matt or Tyler just to mess with them if I can, and then grab another one. I've done that before. But as a drummer, it kind of does suck being in the back sometimes. But it is what it is. I'm still happy where I am and doing what I'm doing.
And it's important too. As the drums, especially in metal and especially in the death metal, black metal area, drums are such a massive part.
You can't get over the feeling of that bass, the power that you have behind that kick drum. You're basically a god on your throat, just blasting sounds. Like it's great.
Yeah, me and Tyler have tried jamming in the basement before, just the two of us, and we get like 5 seconds into a song and we're like, this is just not working. It just doesn't sound right at all.
Nobody's on time.
Nobody's on time. It's all over the place.
How is that for when it comes to writing the music then? Because you can write it on your own lyrically, right? But then with that and how important the drums are.
Well, that really just comes down to me and Tyler just finally having time to go hide in the basement, literally lock doors, everybody get the hell out, dim lights on, don't even really talk to each other. Literally both sitting down there, you have a beer in your hand or something, and you just keep playing down there until you feel something or hear something that has such a good flow to it. And once you find that certain sound, we'll usually pick that sound and we'll keep adding to it and see if we can follow through with it. But most of our song creations is just me and Tyler sitting in our basement, nobody bothering us, and just purely just starting off with one simple 1, 2, 3, 4 beat, progressing from there until we can find something in a whole sound. We'll play for a whole hour straight until we can find something that sounds and feels right.
Yeah.
And I mean, when it comes to guitar, I mean, you love guitars, right?
Yeah.
So is that are pedals a thing that when you're in the basement doing this, you're able to just experiment completely?
Yeah, for the pedals, I used to bring them out on stage, but I've fallen over them too much, so now they're strictly just for, like, when we're in the basement trying to write music and, like, messing around with flangers and choruses and all that, and playing all the weird, like, soundscapes and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun, but unfortunately for us, it just never makes it in, and I have so many because I have a problem with buying things.
Most guitars too.
Yeah, it's a thing. I know, so let's talk about it then. Because I think that's like, when it comes to guitars and sounds, what are you looking for?
It's kind of hard to say exactly what I'm looking for, but initially I wanted a PV6505, ended up with a Hughes and Kettner and kind of fell in love with it because a friend of a band that we used to have had the amp, and mine broke on stage once. He let me play it, so I got that. And now I'm just stuck on that sound. So I'm looking for more of a kind of an old school Marshall tone with a lot of fuzz and distortion, and it seems to work pretty well for what we're doing. And the only other difference now is I've added like chorus, slightly more soundscapes, but not very much else than vintage Marshall with a fuzz.
It kind of sounds like as a band, you're trying to not quite bring back, but you're trying to really harness that 90s, 2000s like hardcore scene.
Yeah, there's something that feels good about doing it raw. That you don't want it to be too raw that
it's impossible to listen to. Yeah.
It's something about doing it raw. It's like you could do it wrong, you could do it right. But when it comes to when we play live, there's just something about like we put on our corpse paint. I'm very expressive. I like to do it the way it makes me feel. Like if I feel disgusting, I'm gonna smear it before I get on stage, stuff like that. And when I play on stage personally, if I feel disgusting and I don't want it to sound more disgusting, I'll do just different gross things with my voice and just make it really raw and just really real and feel the emotion that it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah. But bringing back like the old school, low budget, like broken instrument, like I guess you can call it an aesthetic, is kind of what we're going for. Because like initially, yeah, we want to be one of the basically true black metal bands.
But what is true black metal?
Oh no.
Oh, that's all you.
It's
Because you can make that statement, but I mean,
Yeah.
you have to define it.
You're gonna piss a lot of people off.
yeah, it's a touchy subject, but basically, if you look at the old Mayhem and Dark Throne stuff like that, just guitars that sound like they're in a tunnel, recorded with one microphone, and usually talking about Satan or some kind of anti lifestyle is more of the true black metal with the paint and the spikes and the theatrics that basically just people normally either wouldn't see or don't see at a generic metal show.
So what artists inspire you at this point then? Like within that genre even?
Yeah, I feel like we all have a few different artists that inspire us personally. I'm inspired a lot vocally by an artist. They used to be more black metal. Now they're, there's industrial, dark. Yeah. So, Cradle of Filth, Danny Filth, his vocals were a huge inspiration on what I do. And then I'm inspired also by like industrial metal, like electronic dark metal and stuff like that. And I feel like we all got a little bit of different inspiration. When I joined the band, I didn't even know what black metal was. And then he opened the worlds of dark and decay to me, and I never turned back.
What about you?
For an inspiration, I would say for our sound is like, or just in sound general, it would probably be, never say the damn name right, Bethlehem.
Bethlehem?
Bethlehem, thank you. I have there's so many ones like that. But yeah, that's been my favorite so far. That's what I've been drawing to. I don't know what it is, but that sound, that feeling you get behind it, that's what I want to draw towards too. And I can't get over it. I can't get over it. I definitely have to say that's been one of my biggest inspirations that you showed me that one. Exactly.
And I guess for me, actually, thanks to Mark at the Asylum, I noticed it kind of accidentally. There's a band called Blunt Aus Nord. It's a Norwegian black metal band. Apparently, the guitar tone and most of the riffs that I go for is identical to it. I don't hear it, but I enjoy the compliment.
Actually, I could say something that could probably stand for all three of us. Is that we're all also kind of very inspired by Woven Ancestry.
Yeah.
The old Sudbury Black Metal band.
Mm-hmm.
That's all been a big inspiration and impact on us.
Yeah, they were huge for a while locally.
Yeah.
That's actually, I think that'd be interesting too. Like, are there, to jump into the local bands that you guys enjoy listening to just because it's fun? Like, what are, besides Woven Ancestry and Before the Black Gates, are there a couple other bands that you just are huge fans of locally?
Therapist.
Yeah, the Therapists are a fun time.
Yeah, they're a good show live.
Yeah, I've been hanging out lately with my I got a couple of buddies in Ragnarok. Actually, they do like cover stuff, and they have not played a lot of shows, but it's built up of like the drummer from Drug Wolf, and it used to be in Desolate State, a couple of them, but they're all really talented musicians, and they put a powerful twist on like the covers, and it's like you don't hear them done that way. I find them really interesting.
And like they don't get enough appreciation, but Nickel City Show Band, every time we go there, it's like,
oh yeah,
it's just so good. Like Johnny Be Good and everything like that. They put on such good covers. It's so much fun.
Yeah,
it's all very good classic rock music that everybody can enjoy, and it's just an all out good time. Like, not everybody's a fan of a cover band, but if you are going to see a cover band, go to that one.
Yeah, know the good ones. Go check those out. There's never enough people. If we ever do go check out Nickel City Show Band at the Asylum, there's always an empty house. But it'd be, good to see some people there. They have
I wouldn't say it's always an empty house, but
there's not many people sometimes.
It's like that for us too.
It's like that with every band though, realistically, right?
Yeah.
What if we speaking of that, let's play another what if we play another track?
That'd be cool.
So which one do you guys wanna
Oh man.
Which one reaches out to you, Matt?
Yeah. Which one are you really feeling today?
Oh, it's too fake.
Yeah?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We gotta find it on the chart there. Nothing's timestamped because we're
So like actually I guess we could all with that, what if we just did Rage Inside?
Let's just do that, yeah. Because then it'll play right away.
Yeah.
Good call.
So we're gonna play Rage Inside by Foremother, and we'll be back in a few minutes to kind of wrap things up. Where's the audio? Oh shit. All right. Well, we'll skip ahead. Fake should come up.
Now just maybe set to go timestamp all that later.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
No audio's coming out of it. Fuck. All right. Well, we're gonna have to go back and we're just gonna play your live.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do Suicide Song.
Oh, the original.
Yeah.
The very first song that came out, that's gonna be.
It's gonna be horrendous, but
Yeah.
for some reason the YouTube video isn't playing.
Fair enough.
Oh.
You had the wrong thing out.
Oh shit. I was so confused. Fuck.
Oh, that's great. How sick are you right now, man?
I know I lost my voice and yeah.
Yeah, your voice sounds like shit.
It's always when I have to talk or do something that I end up talking to my voice.
This is like, what, a minute and a half or so?
Yeah, it's like 2 minutes long.
It could be worse than this recording.
Yeah, like when we play it live, it's like 45
Yeah.
seconds. Oh, there's backing vocals in this song. Oh, that's my backing vocals.
I don't even care, man. I'm for it.
I haven't listened to the original in so long.
I don't know. We recorded this like
A year ago.
a year ago.
Maybe. Because it's coming through okay. That's ridiculous. So it's just maybe it's just too much for the speaker?
Maybe.
No, that's like a good song.
Yeah.
It's too heavy for the speaker.
That's hilarious. All right, cool. We'll be back for like 10 minutes, and then we'll play a song to go out.
Cool.
And that was, we changed it up. So that was Suicide Song by For Mother. And you're listening to The Music Prophet on CKLU 96.7 FM. I think we should talk about when it like the messaging behind music, which would be interesting. Because the perception of metal is that it's all about Satan and everything that's dark, right?
Yeah.
But yet I feel like that's just what it's perceived, and there's a lot more behind it.
Yeah, it's definitely, especially when it comes to black metal, it's perceived that everything we're gonna sing about is Satan and stuff like that. And it's surely we mentioned Satan and stuff and dark stuff like that in our songs. We call the song literally Nickel City Satan because he was like, yo, write a dark black metal song. So like, we'll call it Nickel City Satan just as a joke because it's, don't take it overly too seriously, I like to write music vocally wise, something that's going to like affect me in a way, like something I want to send a message across. If I started screaming about Satan and stuff like that, I feel like it just doesn't hit me hard enough. It's, it's dark and stuff, but it's not my darkness or relatable darkness that we can spread across that people can actually relate to. I like to write about situations in my life that can relate to other people and get the real emotion out and then feel that through my lyrics.
So it's not all evil then?
It's evil in a different sense of the word.
I'm not gonna make a comment actually.
But it's true though, right? There's you can sing about Satan, but that doesn't mean that it's all about it. It's just sort of one element of the genre almost.
Yeah. If I were to write a song with more Satan aspects, I would look for what Satan means to me in the specifics of that song. I would use it almost more as a metaphor or something along those lines. But just to scream about just Satan itself, it's, you know, I maybe I just haven't found my proper inspiration in that aspect yet. But right now, it's not something I do a lot of.
It's all been done that way many times anyway.
Exactly. I try, and as much as we love trying to get back to the old school black metal sound, I like the idea that we've always, without even trying, really just had something different about us. And I'd like to keep it that way too. Give us like some sort of a different edge. Just do things slightly a different way. Stand out a bit and make our live show and our music we make as a whole something interesting for people to come see over and over again, listen to over and over again, and relate to on a personal level.
Is that something that does that push you harder then, knowing that everything's been done, so you need to make something so unique that it does stand out?
It's kind of impossible for, well, black metal anyway, because like we play 3 or 4 power chords, trem picking, and blast beats. It's all been done, but we try to add a different element, whether or not it's something that's completely separate from the genre, or like a breakdown or something like that. But it doesn't. It's hard to say if it motivates us more. It's more of just we need to try and be different. So
yeah. You realize at some point that if you're not different, you're just gonna waste away like every other band who hasn't made it anywhere. You're just gonna fall to the wayside. You know, you have to stand out in some sense of the word.
Yeah, that's true, right? Because there's a lot of people that can do what you do if they put enough time into it, and so it's almost a responsibility that to yourself, I feel like.
Yeah, we've worked to where we thought to. We're not that far by any means, but you know, we worked for where we're at. We just got to hold our position and then keep on moving up the ladder.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like too. When it comes to you actually going in the studio to write and just playing your performances, even, do you ever have the problem of thinking, oh, I've seen this been done before, but we should do it again?
We had that problem in the past. I don't know how to explain it exactly. The only term I can think about right now is not just being trying not to be somebody to sound like another band. It's also trying not to sound too repetitive at the same time. We've written songs for we took 2 days to write one song, but as soon as we write one right after it sounds pretty close to the same thing, just with very slight little changes.
Mm-hmm.
So even with the distortion pedals, the old sound of the one mic, everything, those little things, just something to trigger people during this time. Like people that know the research now and listen to black metal and all that stuff are gonna know right away, oh, they're trying to be like this. But we gotta remember also, it's been many years since then. This is now a completely different generation. So, and I feel like as long as you can just stay within, I don't know how to try to say this. As long as you can find your way, stay different, but with a smooth course, it should be fine. You should be able to do what you want to do as long as you push for it.
Yeah, that's I think it's a good way to wrap it up too. It's ends on a high note,
yeah,
or low note, however you want to look at it. So tell us about the album, or so just tell us where everyone can find the album, where they can find you online, and yeah.
All right, so we are on Facebook, just under For Mother. Instagram is For Mother Official, and we're going to be on Spotify, Google Play, everything but Apple Music, basically, on October 16th. The EP will be there. Other than that, we have a show October 11th in the Asylum.
So thanks for coming on, guys. That was sweet.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We'll see you next time.